girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass.
For nearly 30 years, the WNBA played in the shadows. Arenas half empty, games buried on obscure channels, superstars overlooked. Then she arrived, Caitlin Clark. One rookie, one season, and suddenly the league that struggled for relevance became impossible to ignore. How did one player change everything? What made her unstoppable? Records shattered, arenas sold out, television ratings soared, a force of nature rewriting the rules of women's basketball. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. Quiz: what made Caitlin Clark unstoppable in her rookie WNBA season? A. Sold-out arenas. B. Record-breaking games. C. Skyrocketing TV ratings. D. All of the above. Think you know it? Comment your answer. I'll spill the truth later. The spotlight effect. Here is what people do not tell you about being a transformative figure. What you do not just bring the light, you expose everything the light falls on. When Caitlin Clark was selected first overall by the Indiana Fever in the 2024
WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark.
WNBA draft, a draft that drew 2.45 million viewers, quadrupling the previous record. She did not just bring fans into the building. She brought a level of scrutiny that the WNBA had never experienced. Suddenly, the cameras were not just pointed at the court. They were pointed at everything. The charter flight situation, the hotel accommodations, the salary structure, the broadcast quality, the arena conditions. For the first time in the league's history, millions of casual sports fans were tuning in and asking a simple, devastating question. Why are things like this? The WNBA had operated for decades in a kind of protective obscurity. Low viewership meant low pressure. Low pressure meant structural problems could persist without national embarrassment. But Clark's arrival ripped the curtain back. When new fans saw that WNBA players were flying commercials while their male counterparts traveled on private charters.
Now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Indiana Fever.
It became a national conversation overnight. When viewers saw the difference in arena quality, broadcast production, and media access, the contrast was inescapable. And here is the part that matters most. The audience did not turn away. They leaned in. People who had never watched a single WNBA game before May 2024 were suddenly following the Indiana Fever the way people follow NFL franchises. They were learning rosters. They were tracking stats. They were arguing about rotations in barbershops, in group chats, at dinner tables. A father named Jason Smith brought his 9-year-old daughter Autumn to a Fever Road game in Washington, D.C., their first WNBA game ever. She told reporters she loved Clark's three-point shots and her passes. Within weeks, the family was following 4 teams. That is the spotlight effect. It is not just about one player being good, it is about one player being so magnetic that the people she draws in do not leave when the spotlight moves.
When things seem like they're long and they're tired and I have to do this and I have to do that, I just try to remind myself of how grateful I am and
They stay. They become fans of the sport, not just the person. Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles attended a Fever game in August 2024, her first WNBA game ever, and posted about it publicly. Her message was simple and potent. Everyone watches women's sports. The subtext was unmistakable. If the greatest gymnast in history is showing up, maybe you should too. Clark did not just fill seats. She created a permission structure. She made it culturally acceptable, even culturally necessary, for mainstream sports fans to care about women's basketball.
Absolutely on fire. The NCAA women's all-time leading scorer entering
Holloway picking up that personal foul.
And once that door opened, it never closed. Finally, it's time. I'm revealing the correct answer, and the answer is D. Who guessed it right? Let's see in the comments. Numbers don't lie. I will give you the numbers, and I want you to sit with them because they are staggering. In 2023, the Indiana Fever averaged 4,067 fans per home game. In 2024, with Caitlin Clark on the roster, they averaged over 17,000. That is not a percentage increase. That is a multiplication. The Fever became the first team in WNBA history to draw more than 340,000 fans in a single season. And more than 500,000 people attended Fever games total, home and away, across the 31 games Clark appeared in. To put that in perspective, the Fever surpassed their entire 2023 season home attendance in their first 5 home games. 4 opposing teams, Washington, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, moved their home games against the Fever to larger NBA arenas just to accommodate ticket demand. The Mystics moved a game to Capital One Arena. It drew 20,333 fans, the most for a regular season WNBA game in 17 years. They did it again for the season finale. That one drew 20,711.
Behind an iconic performance.
A new all-time record. Now let us talk about television. The WNBA attracted more than 54 million unique viewers across all networks in 2024, an all-time record. 22 regular season games drew at least 1 million viewers. Clark was involved in all but 3 of them. On the list of the season's most-watched games, you had to scroll down to number 15 to find one that did not feature the Fever. Viewership on ESPN platforms averaged 1.19 million for WNBA games, a 170% increase from the previous year. The 7 most watched WNBA games in ESPN history all happened in 2024. CBS had its 5 most watched WNBA
Another opportunity for UCLA.
broadcasts ever. NBA TV quadrupled its WNBA viewership. 6 different networks, ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, CBS, ION, and NBA TV, each recorded their most-watched WNBA game ever, all in the same season. The All-Star Game, featuring Clark alongside Angel Reese against the U.S. Olympic team, drew 3.44 million viewers. The previous record, set in 2003, was 1.44 million. Clark's presence did not just beat the record, it buried it. And then there is the money. Forbes valued the Fever as the second most valuable WNBA franchise at $370 million, crediting Clark's popularity as a primary driver. The team led the league in revenue with an estimated $32 million in 2024. The Common Sense Institute of Iowa estimated that the Caitlin Clark effect increased Iowa's gross domestic product by between $14 and $52 million during her college career alone, generating approximately $82.5 million in consumer spending. Google searches for the WNBA rose over 300% compared to the previous season.
Rookie.
Over 850% compared to 5 years ago. Nearly 1,400% from a decade ago. Here is the number that might matter most. According to Q scores, which measure public awareness and popularity, 44% of Americans know who Caitlin Clark is. That is higher than Aaron Judge at 30%. Higher than Mike Trout at 25%. Higher than Shohei Ohtani at 23%. A WNBA rookie in her first professional season became more recognizable to the American public than 3 of Major League Baseball's biggest stars. These are not incremental gains. This is a paradigm shift, and every single data point traces back to one player. Resistance and validation. Here is the uncomfortable part of the story, and it needs to be told honestly because it reveals something important about what happens when disruption enters any system. Caitlin Clark was not universally welcomed into the WNBA. Before she had played a single professional game, the discourse was already fractured. Some celebrated her arrival as the catalyst the league had been waiting for. And others questioned why she was receiving a level of attention that veterans who had built the league over decades never enjoyed. The conversation quickly became tangled with questions about race, media equity, and the uneven distribution of visibility in women's sports. On the court, Clark's welcome was physical. In her early games, she absorbed hard fouls that went beyond standard rookie hazing. A flagrant foul from Chicago's Diamond DeShields. A controversial hip check from Chennedy Carter that sent Clark to the floor and went viral. A hit from Angel Reese that caught Clark in the head. These moments became national talking points. Debated not just on sports networks, but on mainstream news and social media. Off the court, the friction was equally pointed. WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops publicly misstated facts about Clark's college career, incorrectly claiming she had played 5 seasons and taken an excessive number of shots per game. Diana Taurasi gave a sly warning before the season that reality was about to hit the incoming rookies, a comment widely interpreted as directed at Clark. And perhaps most significantly, Clark was left off the USA Basketball Olympic roster for the 2024 Paris Games, a decision that ignited fierce public debate and which many fans viewed as a deliberate snub. Charles Barkley, the NBA Hall of Famer, who has never been accused of holding back an opinion, went on the Bill Simmons podcast and said what a lot of people were thinking. He called the treatment of Clark driven by petty jealousy. He pointed out that Clark was bringing unprecedented money, attention, and visibility to the league, and that the response from some players and media figures had been to undermine rather than embrace. He praised Clark for never saying a word in response, for keeping her head down and letting her game speak. And here is the thing. The audience spoke louder than any of it. Every controversial moment, every flagrant foul, every omission from a roster only drove more attention to Clark and to the WNBA.
Possible UConn and Paige Becker's matchup. Oh, I'm not sure if anyone...
The fans who were drawn to her did not leave when the controversy started. They dug in. They bought more tickets. They watched more games. They engaged more fiercely. The resistance, ironically, became fuel. The Fever started the season 1-8. They looked overmatched. The critics sharpened their knives. And then something shifted. Clark adapted. She got faster. She got tougher. She started reading defenses with the precision of a 10-year veteran. The Fever went on a run. They finished 2020 and clinched a playoff berth for the first time in 8 years, snapping the longest postseason drought in the WNBA. Clark finished her rookie season averaging 19.2 points and a league-leading 8.4 assists per game.
2024 Kia WNBA Rookie of...
She set the WNBA single-season assist record with 337. She set the single-game assist record with 19. She recorded 2 triple-doubles, something only 8 players in league history have done more than once. She won Rookie of the Year unanimously. The resistance did not stop her. It validated her. Comparisons to legends. When people try to explain the Caitlin Clark effect, they inevitably reach for the biggest names in sports history. And for once, the comparisons are not hyperbole. When they are structurally accurate, start with Michael Jordan. When Jordan entered the NBA in 1984, the league was in crisis. Attendance was declining. Television ratings were tepid. Several franchises were on the verge of financial collapse. And then Jordan arrived and changed everything. Not just because he was the best player in the world, but because he was a cultural phenomenon. He made the NBA must-see television. He turned sneakers into a billion-dollar industry. He gave the league a face that transcended basketball. Clark is doing the same thing for the WNBA. Before her, the league was surviving. After her, it is growing. The structural parallel is undeniable. The WNBA in 2023 was where the NBA was in 1983. A league with real talent and legitimate competition, charmed but without the singular star who could drag it into the mainstream spotlight. Then consider LeBron James. When LeBron was drafted first overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2003, the franchise was among the worst in the league. Within a year, home attendance surged. Television ratings for Cavaliers games dwarfed the rest of the league. Cities that had never cared about Cleveland basketball were suddenly tuning in.
He fires, it's no good, and Allen has it.
LeBron did not just lift his team, he lifted the entire NBA's profile. Clark's impact on the Fever mirrors that trajectory almost exactly. A franchise in freefall, 7 consecutive years without playoffs, near last in attendance, irrelevant in the national conversation, was suddenly the hottest ticket in women's sports. The Fever went from averaging 4,067 fans to over 17,000. From afterthought to appointment television. One player, one draft pick. Everything changed. And then there is the comparison that might matter most. the one that goes beyond statistics and into something harder to quantify. Think about Tiger Woods. Before Tiger, golf was popular among a specific demographic. After Tiger, it was a global cultural event. He did not just win tournaments, he expanded the audience. He brought people into golf who had never considered watching it. He made the sport feel alive in a way it had not felt before. That is what Clark has done for women's basketball. She has not just attracted fans of the women's game, she has brought in fans of sports, period. People who watch the NFL, the NBA, the Premier League, people who consume sports as entertainment, are now watching the WNBA because of her.
Arm's gonna fall off. Brian Howard, shoot till your arm falls off.
The crossover is unprecedented. Charles Barkley drew another comparison during the 2024 season, likening Clark's court vision and game management to Jason Kidd, one of the greatest point guards in NBA history. Barkley pointed to Clark's pace, her ability to see plays developing before they happen, and her willingness to trust her teammates with the ball. That comparison, coming from a man who shared a court with some of the greatest players who ever lived, is not thrown around casually. The point is not that Clark is Jordan or LeBron or Tiger. The point is that she occupies the same structural role. She is the person around whom everything orbits. And history has shown repeatedly that when a figure like that enters a league, the league is never the same. Authenticity is power. Here is the thing about Caitlin Clark that the numbers do not capture and the comparisons do not fully explain. It is the quality that separates a star from a phenomenon, and it is deceptively simple. She is exactly who she appears to be. In an era of carefully curated public personas, media-trained responses, and brand-safe messaging, Clark operates with a transparency that is almost jarring. She celebrates big shots with visible emotion. She talks trash on the court when the moment calls for it. She gets frustrated after bad calls and does not pretend otherwise. She has nearly picked up a 7th technical foul in a single season, and her teammates had to physically steer her away from the referee, and the audience loves her for every bit of it. Oh, because here is what people intuitively understand about authenticity, even if they cannot articulate it. You can fake talent for a while, and you can fake composure for a while, but you cannot fake caring. And Caitlin Clark cares. You can see it in the way she sprints back on defense after a made basket, in the way she claps for a teammate's play even when she is sitting on the bench, in the way she handles post-game interviews, direct, thoughtful, and never once reaching for the safe, empty answer. When she was left off the Olympic roster, she did not throw a public tantrum. She did not subtweet. She confirmed the news, expressed her disappointment with quiet dignity, and then went back to work. When the All-Star game came around, she played with a ferocity that suggested she had not forgotten.
In front of a national TV audience on a Friday night.
She had just chosen to channel it somewhere productive. She dished out 10 assists. She was in the middle of every highlight, and the game drew 3.44 million viewers. When the flagrant fouls came, she got up every single time. She did not complain to the media. She did not play the victim. She absorbed the contact, walked to the free throw line, and hit her shots. Barkley praised her for it. The fans adored her for it, and the message it sent was unmistakable. You can knock me down, but you cannot knock me out. That composure under pressure is what separates Clark from being merely talented. Plenty of athletes can shoot. Plenty can pass. Very few can endure the unique combination of physical aggression, public criticism, and cultural expectation that Clark faced in her rookie year, and come out the other side not just intact, but elevated. Her authenticity has also created something that marketers and league executives have been trying to manufacture for years. Genuine emotional investment from fans. People do not just watch Caitlin Clark play. They root for her in the way you root for someone you feel like you know. They feel the frustration when a call goes against her. They feel the joy when she hits a deep three with the shot clock winding down. That emotional connection is not something you can engineer with advertising campaigns. It only comes from being real. And that is her ultimate competitive advantage. In a media landscape saturated with manufactured personalities, Clark's realness is a superpower. It is the reason fathers bring their daughters to games. It is the reason Simone Biles shows up courtside. It is the reason barbershops that have never discussed the WNBA are now debating her assist numbers. The authenticity is the product, and the product is selling. Caitlin Clark changed the game, but the story isn't finished. The arenas are full, the headlines are written, and the world is watching, but a single season doesn't rewrite history. Can the WNBA turn one moment of brilliance into a lasting era? Will the next generation rise to meet the standard she set? Or will the league slip back into obscurity once the spotlight moves on? The answers aren't clear yet. What is clear is this: the game has changed, and everyone who loves basketball will be paying attention when the next chapter unfolds.